Got dreams of being a professional podcaster, but have no idea what you're doing?
This is impossible.
That's about to change.
A new kind of school.
Welcome to the Pod School Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be giving an opinion that seems to be at odds with the interwebs. It's always interesting when you think something and your experience tells you something and everybody else seems to think something different and you think, maybe I'm off on this one. But I'm just going to give you my thoughts on the back of my experience releasing over 25 podcasts now. So I often get asked the question around how many episodes to launch a podcast with. There is a bit of a theme running online that you should launch your podcast with multiple episodes. Now, I will preface this by saying that the right decision for how to launch your show will always depend on your audience and your content. So you will make a very different decision to other podcasters based on what you know about your audience and how things work for your content. So having said that, it might work perfectly for you to drop multiple episodes at the beginning of your show. If you are just doing it because you seem to have read about 19 different articles that have told you to drop multiple episodes, I would just woo up and hold your horses and not do it for that reason, because I don't think that the benefits people spruik are actually worth dropping 3 episodes of content. So let me tell you a little bit about why I don't take this popular opinion. The first thing is that I think this multiple episode thing is a bit of a hangover from the old advice that you should drop multiple episodes to get your show into new and noteworthy. A number of years ago, there was a popularly held belief that if you drop multiple episodes, that would mean multiple downloads and that would trick the new and noteworthy algorithm so that you could get your show into that section. Now, back in the day, years and years and years ago when podcasting started and Apple wasn't paying that much attention to its shopfront, maybe that's how it did work. But certainly now there is somebody curating new and noteworthy. So that is not the way to get your show into that section. It is a features section from Apple. It is their choice what shows go into that section. So really the only way to get in there is to have a great show that sounds good and looks awesome and is something that Apple would want to feature. So I think that is where this stuff started. And now once people sort of started to realize that there isn't an algorithm and it can't be tricked, maybe this has morphed into something new, but I think that's where it starts. So if you think that that's how you're going to get into new and noteworthy and that's why you're doing it, that's actually not true. So don't do the multiple episode things in the hopes that you'll get into that section, because it doesn't work that way. The other thing I've seen people suggesting is that it's a way to get into the charts. So if you have multiple episodes, there's a sense that you will therefore get more than one download from every new listener or subscriber, and that will kick you into the charts. The problem with that is that the charts, while the science behind them is a well-kept secret by Apple, the popular opinion is that it is subscribers and new subscribers in the last 7 days that influences whether or not you make your way into the charts or not. So downloads aren't really the issue. And since people subscribe to a show, not individual episodes, it's not like if you have 3 times the episodes, you're going to get 3 times the subscribers. There could be an argument maybe for SEO, if you've SEO'd the crap out of your episodes and there are 3 different episodes that get 3 different people or 3 different types of people coming in through SEO that find your show and then subscribe. Maybe that's an argument. I would find that quite difficult to believe if you had just launched your show, because depending on what keywords you're trying to compete for, I can't imagine you'd be up the top of the search results from day one. So the fact that people are finding you via SEO and coming into the show that way, I'm not sure straight away whether that would actually happen, but maybe there's an argument that, you know, if you've got multiple episodes they're SEO'd, that people could come in via search and maybe subscribe that way. I just don't know that the benefit is necessarily worth the idea of dropping 3 episodes of content that you could use over the course of 3 weeks. I've, over the course of launching over 25 podcasts, done it a number of ways. Some just the trailer and episode by episode. Some I've done a full season at once. Others multiple episodes at once. And honestly, the way of launching that I've found most success with is just launching a trailer and then launching each individual episode week by week. So So launching that trailer a couple of weeks ahead of time, because you obviously need time to get into the directories, starting to promote your show as soon as that pops into the directories, maybe a week or so out, and then just really pumping the crap out of each individual episode as it goes live. What I've found with shows where I dropped multiple episodes or a full season or half a season and then more later on is that we kicked into the charts on that first kind of early days, and then it was very hard to get back into the charts again as the season rolled out. Whereas with other shows where we've just really focused on promoting the crap out of each episode and getting more and more people and building the show over time, it's been possible to get into the charts with each individual episode. So I don't think I've seen enough evidence of the multiple episode kind of approach working really well. And because I know it's boring, but the old consistency is key approach to podcasting is really the best way to grow an audience over time. And this sort of multiple episode thing just smacks a little bit of the kind of where's my quick fix solution to launching my podcast so like 1 million people come in on day one. And I just don't think it has those benefits. Again, if it works for your show, that's fantastic. If it makes sense for you, if, for example, you could open up your show with a 3-part series, or you look at one story over 3 episodes and it makes sense to give your audience everything at once so they don't have to wait for 3 weeks to get the whole kind of package, you can do it at once, then that's fantastic. That's a great idea to launch like that. There's no disadvantage to that whatsoever. But if you're just putting 3 rando, completely unrelated episodes in that feed, honestly, when consistency is so important to podcasting success, the benefit of having 3 episodes up your sleeve so you are 3 weeks ahead of yourself, and if you can batch record even more than that, so you could be 8 weeks ahead of yourself if possible, the benefit of that is, I think, so much greater than having multiple episodes at launch, because what you want to do is be able to keep on podcasting for the long term, and the more ahead of yourself you can get, the more chance you've got of actually being able to do that. Most podcasts pod fade into oblivion. They get a couple of episodes in, they can't keep up the regular release schedule, and off they go and pretend it never happened. So to avoid doing that, I think you're just better off keeping those episodes in your back pocket and really being ahead of yourself and focusing on promoting the crap out of each individual episode to try and get it into new eyes and ears. I think that is your best approach always, to try and not only potentially kick yourself into the charts, get noticed by Apple, all of those things, but also just to stand the test of time and grow over time, because that's really where you're going to see the best results. I hope that hasn't broken your little heart if you were like, oh, but I wanted to do me multiple episodes. And if that is you and it makes sense for your show, please do not be poo-pooed or dismayed by this episode. I want you to just always make any decision that you make about the content, the release, the format of your show on the basis of your individual episode and the people that listen and your content. So just really keep that in mind when you're thinking about what's best for your show. And if that is multiple episodes, then fantastic. Otherwise, pack those little episodes away, hang on to them and get yourself ahead, and you will be thanking yourself for not leaving things to the last minute, because I tell you, there ain't nothing worse. If you would like a little more help with your podcast, please check out my online podcasting course, PodSchool. You can find all the details at podschool.com.au. The course is currently open for enrollment, so you can jump in right now and get started making a kick-ass show that you can be very proud of. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week. Until then, happy podcasting.
That's all for today.